Okay, so the problem is design a system that ingests book reviews from Amazon.com and provide book recommendation on your websites. Okay, sure. So let me just quickly list down the requirements, the functional requirements. We started. So basically, that ingests book reviews from Amazon.com. Okay, so basically, read reviews from Amazon and ingest them to the system. Okay, list the books. So create the recommendations or on the website. Okay, so maybe like you gives a few input and system generates recommendations. User could see the recommended books, right? This is mostly async changes trigger on demand or happens automatically, maybe once for user. Okay, so this is there. So basically this is nothing but you ingest the data and then generate the recommendations. Okay, so here one, I think the should be fast, I mean reasonable, should be fast, basically like not too slow. Yeah, basically like recommendations are generated within a few minutes. The ingester not affecting the user flows, right? The reviews are updated periodically, right? Or maybe the skills, the system scales as more reviews are coming in, right? Scale, I mean the books could be very high, maybe let's say 100 million books. Reviews typically like 5 to 10 on average, maybe per book average, but yeah, for some books it could be higher, but I think we have to actually build a high skill system, so this is not going to give me much. What I'm thinking of, like for this particular project, like this one, I think one of the core and would be call it, let's say, the book metadata, right? And then probably the book reviews, right? And then the recommendation. Book reviews, yeah, I think book metadata, we can, this entity is there, whatever the books that are there, but then the book reviews are coming in. Okay, cool. The APIs will go as and when we can kind of move forward. Let's just let me put a smaller system, so quick system. So how I am thinking about this is, let's say this is amazon.com. Right. Cron. I think there is some, but this is basically fetches fetcher talks to the Amazon. Maybe let me just call it smart review scraper, right? Scraper. There's some sort of cron. Okay, we'll come to it later. Then I'm kind of thinking of putting these reviews in a queue, review queue, and then kind of dumping it into the DB. DB it will have, let's say, for example, review, right? Book ID, source. For now it will be amazon.com, but later on could be something else also. Book ID, and the book review rating, maybe review text. Here we can have the image URLs also. I mean, then probably if we are allowed, I think the image, this will be irrelevant for now, but for example, image URLs and miscellaneous, we will kind of keep on adding. So this is let's say it's kind of as a fetches, like fetch the book list, maybe, right? Here there could be a book also, book entity ID, and call it book metadata, right? Could be something else. So how I'm thinking of is, let's say we kind of fetch the reviews for book. This is a simpler flow. Now what, so this basically covers my ingester. I'm kind of putting it in DB, so this could be very well be the DynamoDB also. Like I don't have much of data, or it could be a Mongo also. Like I could put all the document related stuff. Like it could just be a document which has the reviews and everything. On the ingest, like once kind of what happens here is so let's say the other thing would be call it a review queue, say the user service, right? So what it kind of does is user choice, like could be create recommendation, like call it recommendation, right? This is my API. Let me just move it here. This service, This is my load balancer. I could probably here there is a user. There could be two flows here basically. This is nothing but a user. Ignore this one. Yeah, load balancer recommendation. When the creation of the recommendation came up. So this user service, or call it a recommendation, or let me just kind of just give me a minute. Let me just reiterate it here so that it becomes easier. I kind of want to make it slightly more. Yes, and this is my gateway. Okay. What it does is it kind of I could make it basically a simple service, and then we'll recommendation service. Here let's say the create recommendation API came up, or call it recommends. Yeah. This API is there, which basically like user would be in the JW2 tokens and all of those things, but it will have maybe whatever the genre, etc., whatnot, right? All of these fields would be come up. This is more of a so the recommendation, what it will do is it will actually go here, and one could be fetch the relevant books. Actually this I can keep it, but probably let me just put it like something like this. This gateway is there here. Let me kind of move it probably here. Gateway recommendation API is there. And what it does is it kind of puts it in queue. This could be on demand also. Why I did this, I'll tell you. Recommendation service is here, which basically reads from here, fetches the data from DB, write all the various commands and whatnot. It kind of passes here, like this gateway would also be writing this into the DB just in case. Saves the generation request in DB. Recommendation queue, recommendation service, it generates it and then kind of stores it into the DB. So this basically would be bidirectional. Okay, arrowheads. I don't know what happened. Yeah, so what I'm thinking of is okay. Yeah, so this is what it is. Basically there is a recommendation service, gives the generates it, saves it here, and then probably like either gateway fetches it. So the flow, the data flow would look like a recommendation API came in, saves it, puts it into recommendation queue, recommendation service picks up the job, like which user is it and all of those things. It does fetch the data from here, puts the recommendation. So basically there will be a recommendation which will have user, maybe like user ID, job ID, and then probably some metadata and the movie list, or the book list, right? Book list. Here we can, it could be a document itself, right? So recommendation is here. Another thing what could happen is saves the recommendation, and there is a request that goes to kind of get recommendation. So this will mostly be the existing ones that are there here. So I can kind of do one thing, which is okay, it fetches it from the DB. There could be one more thing, which is basically there is a somewhere here there is a Redis also, so that it fetches it from here. I think the slightly, let's say the Redis, right? Request recommendation queue, it fetches it here. I could either poll or maybe like there is a WebSocket also that we can put in, probably somewhere here there could be something like similar to pusher. It kind of here whatever the app that is there, probably let's say the UI, here somewhere there is a UI which basically gets the events recommendation, right? That's one simple thing, one single thing, where every user whoever logs in, they kind of pusher that is there, and it will just fetch whatever is there for their that's one. The second thing could be like this here is on demand, but let's say the user information is also here somewhere. You could be the choices and whatnot. There could be probably here somewhere there is a cron which is going on kind of it's basically what this means is it schedules the user specific async recommendation calculator. They could be multiple things, right? Which is could be cron, or maybe there could be a queue which is the same recommendation queue, maybe let's say here, but the events could come in from, this will be other way around. This come from, let's say, user log, probably like new user login, updation of the choices, all of those things, right? It pushes the event. There is a recommendation that is created which is there in the DB. Gateway will fetch like, okay, what are all the recommendations that I have. Ideally by default there will be one. The second thing could be like, this is basically on the cron. We'll kind of make it maybe the smart scheduler, smart schedule, so that would take care of the SLAs and all of those things. Whatever is there, we try to fetch the reviews in bulk, putting it in the review update review queue, so that this could be done in a way which is not affecting the DB or like creating too many writes at the same moment. So just to throttle it, recommendations could be triggered at multiple places. So this is what I'm thinking of. Let's walk back with the, it kind of read reviews from ingest and ingest them into the system. This is happening here. User gives a few inputs and system generates recommendation. I think this get recommendation API came in, saves the request. Get recommendation, basically here the same thing would happen. API came in, list comes, let's say this is my API, ignore the API contract, but then this will try to fetch it from the DB, right? Here recommendation service DB, I didn't get the two-way, so let me just make it one way itself. Okay, so Redis recommendation is being written here. The second thing it will do is probably write it here also. This is fetching here. Maybe like simpler thing could be it kind of goes here also if it's not in Redis. This I have done because once the recommendations are kind of generated, they'll not be updated too frequently, so we can keep it in the Redis. That's there. And if any changes happen, and I think with this system, like all of these services are scalable. Redis multi-cluster dynamo scales up pretty well. This we have put a smart schedule so that it's taking care of the SLAs and all of those things that the Amazon.com have given. Smart review scraper, I think this is again could be horizontally scalable. Workers could just be our what do you say, the list of yeah, I mean these could be a lambda also, as in when they are needed, based on the cron or the smart schedule. I think it covers most of the things. Users could see the recommended books. Redis recommendation. I think this here it could be slightly more on how do we kind of keep the list of books somewhere. Maybe like here in the Redis somewhere, like this red. Probably here there is a red. It could be the same Redis, uh, or maybe like just a very so Redis here. This is, I mean, that's one optimization. I don't think we need it because this will anyway be smart schedule, which we are not running very frequently, maybe like once every day or 2 days and whatnot, to make it pull based. Another approach could be, which is basically the pull push based, if Amazon provides those kind of things. I doubt it does. So here we'll have to use more of a scraping kind of techniques. But if it does, then probably those change events we can subscribe to, and maybe pushing it into the review queue. This could be like our Kafka topic, or maybe SQS also. Yeah, just in case if we are not able to process it, we might put it into the dead letter queue and all of those things. But here, this is how the system looks like. I know it's slightly complicated. Maybe, yeah. Okay.